The return of the huarango. The arid valleys of southern Peru are welcoming the return of a native plant. The south coast of Peru is a narrow, 2,000 kilometers long strip of desert squeezed between the Andes and the Pacific Ocean. It is also one of the most fragile ecosystems on Earth. It hardly ever rains there, and the only year-round source of water is located tens of meters below the surface. This is why the huarango tree is so suited to life there. It has the longest roots of any tree in the world. They stretch out 50 to 80 meters, and as well as sucking up water for the tree, they bring it into the higher subsoil, creating a water source for other plant life. Dr. David Beresford Jones, archaeobotanist at Cambridge University, has been studying the role of the huarango tree in landscape change in the lower Ica Valley in southern Peru. He believes the huarango was key to the ancient people's diet, and because it could reach deep water sources, it allowed local people to withstand years of drought when their other crops failed. But over the centuries, huarango trees were gradually replaced with crops. Cutting down native woodland leads to erosion, as there is nothing to keep the soil in place. So when the huarangos go, the land turns into a desert. Nothing grows at all in the local Ica Valley now. For centuries, the huarango tree was vital to the people of the neighboring Middle Ica Valley too. They grew vegetables under it and ate products made from its seed pods. Its leaves and bark were used for herbal remedies, while its branches were used for charcoal for cooking and heating, and its trunk was used to build houses. But now it is disappearing rapidly. The majority of the huarango tree forests in the valley have already been cleared for fill and agriculture. Initially, these were small holdings, but now they are huge farms producing crops for the international market. Of the forests that were here 1,000 years ago, 99% have already gone, says botanist Oliver Woolley from Kew Gardens in London, who, together with ethnobotanist Dr. William Milken, is running a pioneering project to protect and restore the rapidly disappearing habitat. In order to succeed, Woolley needs to get the local people on board, and that has meant overcoming local prejudices. Increasingly aspirational communities think that if you plant fruit trees in your home or street, it shows you are poor and still need to grow your own food. He says, in order to stop the Middle Ica Valley going the same way as the local Ica Valley, Woolley is encouraging locals to love the hurangos again. It's a process of cultural resuscitation. He says he has already set up a huarango festival to reinstate a sense of pride in their eco-heritage and has helped local school children plant thousands of trees. In order to get people interested in habitat restoration, you need to plant a tree that is useful to them, says Woolley. So he has been working with local families to attempt to create a sustainable income from the hurangos by turning the products into foodstuffs. Boil up the beans and you get this thick brown syrup like molasses. You can also use it in drinks, soups, or stews. The pods can be ground into flour to make cakes, and the seeds roasted into a sweet chocolate coffee. is packed full of vitamins and minerals, Wally says. And some farmers are already planting hurangos. Orbital Benavides, owner of the Ica Valley's only certified organic farm, which Wally helped set up, has been planting the tree for 13 years. He produces syrup and flour and sells these products at an organic farmers market in Lima. His farm is relatively small and doesn't yet provide him with enough to live on, but he hopes this will change. The organic market is growing rapidly in Peru. Benavides say, I am investing in the future. But even if Wally can convince the local people to fall in love with the huarango again, there is still the threat of the larger farms. Some of these cut across the forest and break up the corridors that allow the essential movement of mammals, birds, and pollen up and down the narrow forest strip. In the hope of counteracting this, he is persuading farmers to let him plant forest corridors on their land. He believes the extra woodland will also benefit the farms by reducing their water usage through a lowering of evaporation and providing a refuge to biocontrol insects. If we can record biodiversity and see how it all works, then we are in a good position to move on from there. Desert habitats can reduce down to very little. Wally explains, it's not like a rainforest that needs to have this huge expanse. Life has always been confined to corridors and islands here. If you just have a few trees left, the population can grow up quickly because it's used to exploiting water when it arrives. He sees his project as a model that has the potential to be rolled out across other arid areas around the world. If we can do it here, in the most fragile system on Earth, then that's the real message of hope for lots of places, including Africa, where there is drought and they just cannot afford to wait for rain.
I can't tell what I do, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment, I think of you every